Howdy ho there, friends. Welcome to video number 2, part 2 of our paint and body project on this little Nissan Altima. Our other video got to be about 11 minutes and I decided it's going to take another video to take this to completion. So today we have, it's the next day. We've let our primer set up overnight. We had about four to five coats that we ended up putting on this thing yesterday. And now I've got a black can of spray paint here. I'm going to just show you briefly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put like a little guide. Ooh, I didn't mean to go that thick. Just a little guide coat. Just kind of a misted coat of paint over parts of this primer in the main area is what I'm wanting to do. We'll let that tack up just a minute and we will actually start sanding this down. And I'll show you the reason for the guide coat in just a minute. Well, I can just go ahead and tell you, when you get a contrasting color on there, when you start sanding that down, you'll actually see where your imperfections are a little easier, and helps it to where you can get everything nice and slick and you know that you're done. And you know your body work's not going to have any imperfections or deep sand scratches. Okay guys, we got our board here, our file board here with a piece of 180 grit on here. We're not going to sand this all the way down 180. We just actually want to start kind of making some, go over the whole surface. And we just want to kind of see how straight everything is. If we see really low spots where that black paint stays on there, we'll know that we don't have the shape quite right. Actually, that's already looking pretty good. And actually right here is a good time to see how this body line here looks. So we're just going to block this a little bit. And hold the camera here. I just want to kind of see how this body line right here looks. So we spent a good bit of time getting our body filler and everything right. And as you can see, we got a pretty nice little line right there. I think this is going to actually look all right. I'm going to block over it just a little bit, knock some of this peel down in this primer, and then we'll finish off wet sanding this before we apply a couple more coats. Okay guys, I'm about ready to start wet sanding this. I ran the 180 over here. I didn't see any really bad spots or really deep sand scratches. Remember, we actually got our body work in 180 before we actually primed. Everything's looking good. I see a slight little imperfection right here. I'm probably going to block it just a little bit more so if it disappears. I can barely feel it. If not, we'll spot putty that. And I showed you before in another video, a little spot right here we might have to put a little filler in. There's a little tiny low, so I can barely even feel that. I think that's going to sand out with the 400. So we're going to go ahead and use a foam pad with a half a sheet of 400 grit wet paper on it. And we're going to go ahead and wet sand this on down slick. Okay guys, hey, we're back here. I actually did not show you the actual wet sanding progress on the first coat of primer. We went ahead and got that knocked out, and we've put 3 more coats of primer on it. We've already got our base coat mixed up, and we cut in our bumper down here, and we've done our little repair spot on our bumper. We've got all this guide coated. Customer's going to take this car back and drive it this week. Weather is keeping us from, the cooler weather is keeping us from actually painting this weekend. So next weekend looks like we got some better weather, and we will get back on it. We will actually show you wet sanding and the purpose of the guide coat, where you can see where to stop sanding. And we will get this thing prepped, taped off, base coat, clear coat. We'll do a blend over here. We're going to try to keep it away from the door line here if we can. It's going to be kind of tight, but I think we got a pretty close match on our base coat anyway, so we're hoping for that. We may end up deciding to clear this whole door. I don't know. We'll decide that before next weekend. And we'll get back with you, friends, until this project is finished. Okay guys, hey, we're back here on the next week after our customer drove the car for a week. Today is going to be the final day. We're going to actually paint this thing today. We're supposed to get some nicer, warmer weather this afternoon. It's going to be about 65. So we're back over here on the car. She's driven it all week. It's got the primer on there, second coat of primer. We got a guide coat on there. What we want to focus on first of all is breaking this edge of primer back. We want to kind of sand as much of it back as we can without breaking the edge of the primer over anything that we sanded underneath of it, because if we do, we're going to mess up. We'll have to definitely reprime, because it actually could lift when you start putting that hot clear down on there. One thing right up here, this here, I shouldn't have let this happen, but notice I got a pretty hard primer edge there. I'm gonna have to make sure I block this pretty good where you don't actually see that after you got the base and clear on there. I thought I had the paper pulled back far enough, but I didn't. So we would definitely want to block that nice and feather that edge good. Now the reason for this guide coat, I never did show you on that first one. I meant to. So we'll just work this little area right in here, maybe a little bit, like maybe right in here. I just want to show you. So we'll start wet sanding. And as you can see, there's some orange peel right there, okay? But our guide coat is coming off of there, all right? And what we want to do is continue to sand until all of that guide coat is gone. And then we can stop sanding. We know then that it's slick. It's in 400 grit, which is what we want this in before we start painting. So you just want to keep working this whole area until you get it to the point where you don't see any more of that guide coat. Okay, see right in here, we've already got to that point. Okay, and that's what we want to do. We want to keep working this until we get this whole area sanded down where there's nothing but gray. And we want to get all these edges up here feathered back nice, and to where we have all this extra overspray off of here. And that's what we're going to be working on for the next little bit, folks. And then we'll be ready to wash this thing down and get it in the shop and get it taped up, ready to paint. Okay, folks, hey, we've got this thing actually ready to get it in here and get it taped up and painted after we get all the water dried off of it. But as you notice, we've got all our guide coat sanded off of here. We feather edged all the primer nicely without breaking back onto the clear from underneath that we had actually feathered before. So we've got that like we want it. We went ahead and taken bring the camera right up here. We've actually scuffed this whole panel because we're actually going to paint all the way. We're going to clear all the way this whole strip all the way over here to the windshield. So we scuffed that with a red Scotch-Brite. We're going to base right in here, base down on the bumper where the damaged area was. The whole bumper's been scuffed and ready to have a coat of clear applied to it too. So we'll work our base coat in this area. We're going to cut in our door. I think we'll go ahead and hang our gas door back on here so we base it final coats as well, and then we're going to clear everything. Folks, that's pretty much going to wrap this video up. I think it's going to be a little bit lengthy if we actually put the painting process in too. So we'll put a link down below to send you to the actual painting part of this video. So take a look out for that. Thank you for watching the video today, and we'll see you in a little while. Take care.